Good morning, noon, and evening. Around the world and across the ages, this is The Cavern Today, an Uru Live fan presentation. This is Vid for The Cavern Today, joined by
Montgomery.
And today we'll be taking you into Podcast 25.
It's all about working together. It's a great big world out there in Uru, and sometimes it's easy to find yourself feeling a bit lost.
Especially when you're drowning amongst a constant influx of new groups, terms, and other crazy acronyms.
That's right. We've got the IC,
The OOC,
ADM versus DRC,
TGT,
TCT,
GOO and GLBT,
GOG,
AOG,
DZS,
SWN,
GZ,
AFK, LOL, BRB, TY, and NP.
Okay, that last set didn't even fit, FYI.
Minor detail. The point is, in the end, these are all more than just letters strung together. They each represent an important part of the Explorer community. And besides that, it's crucial to remember that whether you're talking about the Denis Zoological Society
or the anti-DRC movement, it's up to all of us to come together in order to make the restoration in Uru Live work. People who make it their business to make translations available to everyone, such as the recent map of the Pod Age.
Not to mention the groups that stand up for change, whether it's from the DRC or trying to find ways to contact Yisha. You've also got the less serious gatherings, such as Up on the Roof events, Spoken Word Night, and the Slackers comedy meetings in the neighborhoods.
There's also the journeys themselves, also calling on unity. It was just a couple of months ago that we gained access to Eder Dellen and Eder Zogel, both of which require a solid team effort to get things done. Even though they've been around for a couple of months now, there are still plenty of explorers, old and new, who want to solve these ages.
More recently, we saw the release of the Pod Ages, of which we only just received the fourth and presumably final age in that journey. While the Gardens needed groups of 7 or 8 people to solve, it took a sort of hive mind mentality from the community to reach a conclusion regarding those ages.
And just a week ago, we saw the public opening of the Great Zero Calibration Chamber, where explorers can now set out on any one of 14 marker missions. Explorers can do all of these missions alone for the sake of getting coordinates added to their key, but it's going to take a massive effort from thousands of explorers to get the Great Zero itself recalibrated.
Yeah. I know on the first day of it being open, a bunch of nuts put together an event that ran for a solid 24 hours, with music and news reports going out across the Shoutcast server for the entire day.
Oh, weren't you one of those nuts, Vid?
Well, yeah, but...
Well, all of this talk about unity takes us perfectly into the theme for this month's podcast. With so many wonderful things going on in Denis, it seems to be more and more important that we get people up and active. Less sitting around in the nasty fountain water, and more exploration and action.
And when you're all alone, whether it's in your journey ages, pods, gardens, or a quiet little hood instance of Igura, it's easy to get bored and overlook things. Who knows? The next gathering could result in finding the answer to the next big riddle. In the end, no matter what you do, it's almost always best to do it with good company.
And on that note, we can go ahead and take a step forward into this month's great podcast.
We've got in-cavern news reports from Dalkin Starbine.
Another exciting episode of TCT Talk.
The final installment of Torneko's Journal.
A musical piece from Ian Moreland.
And more exciting segments ahead. This is Vid.
And Montgomery for The Cavern Today. Podcast 25, Unity in the Community.
Welcome to TCT News. I'm joined by Narim, who'll start us off for today.
Thank you very much, Dalkin. It's a pleasure to be here. Well, since our last update, 2 new ages have been released to the public. Pei Feren and Tetsunot. Both of these ages are similar to Negalan and Darina in that they are, in fact, hot ages. Would you care to elaborate on those for us, please, Dalkin?
Well, Pei Feren is a desert age, so during the day it's very bright and hot, whereas Tetsunot, being deep under the ocean, is very dark in contrast.
Well, it's certainly very stark in contrast to the other three ages. I believe there are in fact some concerns when it was released that it hadn't been officially released by the DRC, but I think that was resolved, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was cleared up by Nick White. He confirmed that it was approved by the DRC, however amazing that might be.
Yeah, well, I hope that the DRC continues to maintain it, but it still is a very good addition to Pod Ages, particularly in relation to Yisha's latest journey. And there's also some further information on those Pod Ages released a little while back now by Kate Alexander via Museum. In fact, conclusively prove that all of the Pod Ages are in fact located on the same world and not separate worlds.
Yes, the names of the ages appear to come from names of areas on this map that the pods are located in. For example, the desert or continent that Peiphorin is located on is actually the name of the continent is Peiphorin.
That goes for Nighalan and Dorina too, as I believe. But Tetsunot is not actually labelled on the map, but I think it's been worked out to lie in the number 6 spot.
Yeah, it appears to be in the ocean.
But no one's actually worked out what the name means yet, though.
No.
That may be...
Doesn't seem so.
That possibly might be the ocean, but yeah, there's been no conclusive evidence or proof put forward by any members yet. Yes, well, we'll move along. A new group to the cavern, a new group in that they've been recently formed, however their aims and ideas are certainly not new. I'm speaking of course, the anti-DRC movement. Dalkin, would you mind giving us a brief rundown of the members of the group and what their aims are?
Yeah, the main leaders of the group appear to be Sydney Austin, Chloe, and Professor Matt Ovson. They appear to have concerns over the information that the DRC has. They're concerned that the DRC is withholding information and also linking books such as Gardner and Tyranny.
They're also concerned over the actual ability and the competence of the DRC to actually oversee what is, in fact, really one of the greatest archaeological finds, if not of the century, ever.
Yeah, they discussed at a meeting on Wednesday the 11th that the DRC is withholding several linking books that they, according to the anti-DRC movement, is trying to conceal that they even have these books. The anti-DRC movement seems to believe that the DRC is not competent enough to manage the cavern at this time.
They also stated that the DRC were in possession of Kavir, that Kavir was intact, and also they said that the DRC had possession of a mist book, a book to mist, which would certainly, it's an integral part of much of the recent history of the Dene, as seen through Catherine's journals. So certainly, if these accusations were to be proved true, which I have to say they have not done so yet, but if they were to be proved true, it would certainly be quite a shake-up in the cavern. But having said that, the ADM are also involved in several other community initiatives. Particularly, there was a recent linguistics event that they were hosting.
Yes, a real twist that they seem to be actually trying to offer help to the DRC rather than being against the DRC. They invited members of the Dunny Linguistic Fellowship, the Guild of Linguists, and Dunny historians, as well as any other explorers that happen to be linguists, to help to translate any texts or other things that the DRC might have, being understaffed as they are.
Well, I think that a lot of the ADM's concerns sprung from not necessarily the DRC itself, but rather specific policies and the like. But yes, we'll see how the ADM situation develops in the coming weeks. Apart from this specific linguistics event, there are certainly plenty of other community events that are going around in the cavern at the moment. In particular, I think this is a personal favourite of yours, Dalkin, is the spoken word night.
Yes, the Spoken Word Night, founded and hosted by our own Vid, was started during the period of Damala, and it is basically just an event to share anything orally, although you don't have to. It can be shared by text also.
Yeah, so the event includes things like, I suppose, poetry, short stories, and the like?
Yeah, every Wednesday, the explorers will gather in the Uru Obsession neighborhood in the community room to share basically anything that they want to.
There's also plenty of, I suppose, just more relaxed events, such as the alternating Up on the Roof party and the Denis cocktail parties as well.
Yeah, the Up on the Roof party seems to be more of a dance event with, of course, music, whereas the Denis cocktail party seems to be more of a sit back, relax, and visit with other explorers type event.
Well, certainly, regardless of whether you enjoy dance music, I'm sure the Up on the Roof party is still a great environment in which to develop community and to meet new explorers, develop ties, relationship, which is really, I suppose, a critical element of the community.
Oh yes, definitely.
There's also several other initiatives on in the cavern. One that's been running for quite some time is the Edidellen Stained Glass Project, which is officially endorsed by the DRC. It involves making designs that depict, well, restoring designs that depict Edidellen. As I said, this project's been running for some time now, and it closes midnight Mountain Standard Time on April 23rd. So if you have any designs you'd like to submit, then you better submit those quickly if you want them to be assessed.
On the note of helping with the restoration, the Great Zero calibration room has been open for any explorers who have finished their green and red marker missions. You can now enter the calibration room and get the calibration marker missions.
What happens when you complete those extra marker missions?
Along with helping calibrate the Great Zero itself, which of course takes a lot of explorers to do, your personal KPS, or Key Positioning System, will be activated, which will allow you to determine your exact position in Dunning units from the Great Zero.
So that's the system with all the numbers, isn't it?
Yeah, it is a numerical system. I don't remember the units, but it's in Dunning units.
I've never had a good head for numbers myself, but I'm sure it's certainly very useful in exploration, which is another key component of the restoration. Well, I suppose that's all we have time for.
Yes, stay tuned for all the latest news coming in from the cavern. This is Dalton Starbine.
And this is Nareem.
Signing off.
Hi, this is Steve Crox from the Cam today. We at TCT know how hard it can be to get your work out into the community. There are web hosts out there to scalp you for everything you have, and YouTube never does the community's videos justice. So we at TCT would like to offer the TCT Mirror service. If you're a person trying to get your work out there, or a new group looking for a place to set up a web page, you might already have your own website but be overloaded with download requests. Then we encourage you to come to www.thecamtoday.com and fill out our application form. We don't ask for anything, we would just like to use our resources to give back to the community.
Hey everyone, we're back again with another edition of TCT Talk, our roundtable chatterbox about the goings-on in the cavern. This month we have...
Janathus.
Mowag.
Dalton Starbine.
And me, Sherry. There's some new things going on in the cavern, so hey, let's just talk. Let's get it started.
Who's been to Paverin?
Me. Yeah.
Me.
And what a pot it is.
No, I actually linked in there the first time, middle of the night.
Middle of the night in Paverin?
Middle of the night in Paverin. Saw some beautiful stars twinkling in the sky.
Yeah,
and then got immediately panicked because I looked at the glass and there are bullet holes in it. Mm-hmm. And I went, okay, who's been shooting at what and why? That was my absolute first instinct. I think Yeah. Go on.
Suspicion really aimed at Douglas Sharper right off the bat there, because he's the guy with the bullets usually, so we'll see how this works out. There's been some discussion as to if those are truly bullet holes or if they are just the gravel holes from the the fierce winds.
There might be symbols that match those
rocks.
symbols on the ground.
I thought they were just from rocks.
Yeah.
But they seem to be of a uniform size.
Yeah.
And I
That
thought,
was my issue.
did they correspond to the symbols on the ground? I almost thought that they did, but I didn't stay long enough to find out.
You know what my other thought was? My other thought was, okay, who brought the gun from Teledon?
Yes.
Who has been ambushing people inside the pod? Be nice, be sweet, quit shooting at people. Anyway,
Yep,
yes.
Yeah, but as we pointed out before, the avatars don't take much damage.
Not very much, no. No, they mend rather quickly.
And just those leaps that we take in Eater Gira. Don't pretend you haven't.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
See, I've wanted to Photoshop an image of, like, the landing spot for the Garisan, the Barrow Cave Door jump, or the desert where we fall from the fissure, and have, instead of an Abby, falling there, just have an Abby-shaped hole in the ground, kind of like on the Roadrunner cartoons.
Oh, goodness.
It would seem so fitting and a somewhat more
Please take care
authentic
when
than-
jumping.
yeah, falling from great heights and, dusting ourselves off. And, boy, that was fun.
Now, see, the one thing that I thought was a little troublesome for me with this huge jump in Garisan, that, you didn't, you landed there, you kind of stumbled, but why can't we, when you land, why can't you roll and then stand up or something, or very Matrix, land with one knee and, your head on the ground, Yeah, I don't know. I'm crazy like that.
Yeah, after the fissure jump, when we land at the cleft, we actually do, take a tumble, to break our fall, kind of like a parachute jumper would land.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's the little things. But the bullet holes, now, we've all gone back later in the day. And, it was really funny because when I looked at the ground and saw the little pads for pay effort, I immediately associated with the map because I was like, okay, is one of them Dorino and then one of them Negalon or another one?
That's a very good point, yes. And that was my first thought. I saw a kind of a teaser shot on the Uru Live site first that showed the window and the shafts of sunlight coming through. And then I found out about the pads on the floor. I first saw those when there was no sunlight coming through, so my thought was, okay, as the sun passes over this pod, each of those shafts of light passes over a symbol in turn and activates the gate in a corresponding pod. But as it turns out, the sunlight touches all four of them at once. So that theory went... so much for that theory.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was. And it was so funny the first time that I actually was there when the sunlight was sitting in the right spot, because you see them start to glow. And I sat there and was just like watching them in first person, and they get glow brighter and brighter and brighter. And what was so funny is that the gate's downstairs. I was watching them, and I hear
what's that
bong,
noise?
bong, bong, bong. I was like, oh my God, it's downstairs! So I run, grab the ladder, and this is the one moment I wish that we could just take a flying leap off the top.
I was just about to say that.
Don't
That's
you,
one of those
though?
times
Yeah.
when you just want to just jump over the ladder. Safety first.
It's like the phone.
Hey,
the phone's ringing downstairs.
Jay. Yeah. It's one of those things where you're hauling butt and you're just like, Gate, don't leave without me! Because you're taking a flying leap through the thing like Superman.
Now, the other thing is, you would almost think that with the sunlight illuminating all four pads at once, that it would activate all four gates at once. But apparently that's not the case. They must work on time zones. So I suppose it's up to us to understand that Payeferid's gate activates when the four pads are lit. And the others are activated simply based on the time zones there. So
okay, the map. All right, then Moag, shine some light on. Oh God, that's
so to
so
speak.
funny. That is no pun intended, but shine some light on the map.
Oh, it's written right here. What do you mean? Oh,
no. You see that we see the numbers on the pod, so we know where everything is. But there are more pods there.
Yes, there are.
Yeah. There are a ton more pods. So I mean, we usually go in fours. Everything that we have encountered so far, we've gone in fours. And it's really weird because, I think, isn't that section of the bookshelf filled now? with. It's not. No, it's not.
One left.
We have one left.
Okay,
That's
yeah,
right.
Yeah.
So I think the whole 4 thing kind of works, but
Yeah.
I don't know, because I didn't bother to count how many pods there were on the map. How many pods are there on the map?
That's a good question. I don't know.
Oh, got to look that up.
A fair few.
A fair few. Yeah, I know. And what's supposedly the name of this age that we are in that contains the pods? I don't even know. Is there a name for that age?
Not that I've seen.
Which makes you wonder why the pods have individual names. If
Yeah,
they're all
because
in
they
one
are not
place.
ages in themselves or locations in an age.
Yeah. It's just weird. I mean, the pods are just random weirdness.
Yeah.
Why is America called America and Europe called Europe? You know, it could be an area name.
Well,
Yes, on planet Earth.
yeah.
You know, that apparently the Dunny were studying the planet, at least that part of it, extensively.
Or maybe the
That's
names have a deeper meaning.
Or maybe
Oh,
that
dear.
too.
Maybe these are
Mr.
maybe not Dunny numerals, but something to speak of the location they are placed in.
Yeah.
Yes.
Remember that warning about we're too close to the mosaic to see how the pieces fit together.
Yeah,
Yes.
Rawa said that.
Very
Yeah.
true.
Well, it could be something to
Very
that.
true.
So, moving on.
Moving
Yes,
on.
at last.
The Great Zero.
For the first time in my entire history of playing Uru Online, I now have functional KPS.
Right on.
The key positioning system.
Exactly.
Yeah, and this is the first time that I've actually completed all of the marker missions. In the past, I'd attempted to complete them, but there were always 2 or 3 that wouldn't register the markers when I tried to turn them in. And so you can never actually complete everything. So it's very cool. Now, I completed the missions for the first time Saturday night, I think, 2 days ago. And I didn't really see any difference. Well, my calibration didn't appear. And so I thought, well, do I have to lock these in somehow or what? So I clicked the blue button for the first mission again, and ended up resetting it, so I had to replay it. And then when I tried to link to the Nexus to go to the Great Zero to turn the markers in again, I got a black screen and Uru froze. It was like 2 or 3 times, so
So the city froze over solid?
it was amazing.
Oh,
And he can
guys.
slide down the
Scary.
center of the great staircase. No, I got the black screen
had
with
a
the
helmet
active
on.
hotspots at the bottom. That
Oh,
bug.
one of those ones where the lights went out and you just couldn't see. I gotcha.
That's what it was. Yeah.
Guys.
Oh, this is
Yeah.
in Cavern.
I have never completed a marker mission, but
Oh.
here's what's worse. Moog, the other day
Uh-huh.
when I logged in and I was going to go and see what time of day it was in Payifrin,
Uh huh.
well, everything went kind of kerflop.
Really?
And I got caught on black screen with clickables and everything like that. So my first time, I go and get a Rezang. And
Yes.
the whole thing is that I didn't know that it's a chat that pops up in a window that's separate from Uru. I was waiting for a Rezang to pop up in front of me in game, in world. But it was really funny because I come back to the chat page and he's like, "Sure, can I help you?" I was like, "Oh, hi, how are you? I
that's
thought you were
very
going to
neat.
pop up in front of me in Cavern." And what was so funny is
You
that
didn't rub
they
the
said
lamp.
that there was there were issues with the pods. And that they were having server issues.
Interesting.
So I was
Okay.
like,
Well, that might explain
I
that then.
couldn't
Yeah.
get over to Payifrin, so that might have a bearing on things. I don't know, but let me
May have
tell
been
you,
related, yeah.
I'm enjoying seeing hearing the zap and all that other good fun stuff that comes with the GZ.
It isn't actually
It's
working
just
for me
rocks.
yet.
Really?
Are you
Does
sure?
it
'Cause
automatically start when you complete the missions?
When I completed the last mission, I went and looked at the machine just to make sure that it registered my time on
Yeah.
my last mission.
Yeah.
And then I came out and I had to bring up the key to see if the numbers were popping up. I'm like, oh, there's nothing. Oh, it didn't work. Oh, big surprise.
Uh-huh.
And then I closed it. And I'm like, well, I'll just check again. I brought it up, and there were the numbers.
Really? Okay.
I
I'll
remember
try
it
it
was the
again
middle
this
one was
evening.
-5.
Yeah.
Standing there at the machine, that is.
Right.
All right. That means field trip. You guys got to take me on marker missions.
They are really, really a lot of fun.
Are they?
Yeah.
You know,
I enjoy the marker hunts.
Yeah, I love them.
Yeah.
I've been back into the cathedral before.
Yeah.
For those of you who don't know what the cathedral is, that's the little back area of the GZ.
Right.
But when I went back there and I stuck my head in there, there are the little symbols that are next to the number of markers in the mission. And
Yes,
everything like
yes.
that. But those little symbols, I don't know what they mean.
The symbols are actually. Do you mean the numeric symbols, or do you mean the symbols of where they're at?
The other ones where they're at, because I realized
The
that
graphical
one of them
symbols,
is
yeah.
the graphic symbols. I realized that one of them was the library.
Yeah.
Right.
Another one is the Great Stair. I know that, but there are some that are very foreign to me.
Yeah, there's
that
the
I-
One of them
Dakota
looks
building.
like kind of like a comb. That one is the auditorium,
Right. Uh-huh.
Oh,
which is it's weird because it's denoting a appearance that you don't see because you don't usually see it from the
It's the
outside.
apostrophe noting.
wait.
Yeah.
Hang on. Can I go? Like when you're buzzing around the city and there's the signposts that have the this symbol that way.
They're the same
is
symbols.
That okay.
Yeah.
I can use those. All right. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right.
You can usually guess
I'm
pretty
gonna go
close.
And hide again.
There's one symbol that looks like a couple of Japanese gateways, and that's the hood, for example. That's your hood. There is also the Dakota building, and let's see what else.
So those symbols denote where in the vicinity those markers are.
Yeah, but in some cases it's just a starting point.
Yeah, because they can be spread all over the place.
The nearest marker is near that spot, but you are going to be walking all the way across the city to finish it.
Yeah.
So-
okay.
I tried. First, I started out. I'm just going to take my time and have fun with the market missions.
Mm-hmm.
After 3 missions, the lag, even in my instance, was becoming problematic.
Really?
And so the next day, I went in and started the missions. I'm like, hey, there's no lag. All right, and I just kept going, and before I knew it, I was done.
Mm-hmm.
Those annoying ones where you have to jump off the bridge.
Yeah, and I got that one on the first try this time, for the first time ever.
That one, there's like 2 or 3 of them.
Well, the one, yeah. There is one where you jump off the library ledge. There is another where... Okay, where
You
was the
drop off Dakota Alley, and there's 2 off the bridge.
Yes. Yeah, true.
And there's also, of course, the ones in the cracks in the canyon.
Right, yeah.
Well, I'm going to need somebody brave to go with me and do my marker missions because I would be a noob to the marker missions. So.
You know what I found out with the marker missions, they tend to be very captivating, and you find yourself glued to your computer until late at night thinking, just one more mission.
I did that the first time when I did ABM. It's one more age. Just one more age.
Yeah.
I've been good.
Yes.
Yeah, well, I'll only get 6 hours of sleep, but that's okay, because it's one more age.
I'll just drink more coffee. Yeah.
See, no, I never drink coffee when I am in Uru. Because if I drank coffee while I was in Uru, you guys already know I'm spastic, that I'm just like bouncing off the walls. But if I drank coffee during that,
Not as much
you can just...
I'm sorry.
That's okay. That's okay. No, but, I accept that about myself. But if I drank coffee, let me tell you, I'd be like, why isn't this opening? Why isn't this? Come on, let's go now. And no, we don't want Sherry like that. Just like put her on a Xanax, light a candle, put on the soothing music. Okay.
That's what we need a little more of in Cavern. We need some soothing music.
Dude, I'm serious. Because
Let's go to the gallery.
No. The gallery music absolutely drives me insane now.
I love the gallery music.
Well, maybe because we've seen it so many times. Maybe that's it.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
But, I prefer the one up in the Hall of Kings.
Yeah.
That's soothing.
That's a beautiful piece. And I love the library music, too. Yeah. Interior, especially.
Oh, yeah. Now, you know what? We're starting to see books starting to pop up in the museum.
Yeah.
So I guess that is it just me, or do you think we're going to see those books starting to pop up in the library as well?
I just want to run down and pull back the curtain.
Yeah.
I want to meet the wizard.
Me too.
You know where I want to go? Guildhall. That's been blocked off for 4
Definitely,
years.
yes.
I'm like, I've got to find some way to wedge myself in between the barriers and just get over there and run back there because I want to see where that lamp is.
That and the concert hall.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, what are we going to have? The Dunny, Symphony Orchestra? I would love
neat?
that.
Yeah.
That would be, with unique little instruments and stuff like that. Guild of Musicians, Guild of Musicians
I
is
would
having
so found that.
that would be a lot of fun. But anyway, shall we cover the next bullet point? Or are we...
Yeah.
Okay.
Go right ahead.
Updates to Sharper's Journal. Okay, fill me in, guys. I am lost. Every time I go to see Sharper's Journal, it's the same old journal. I'm not seeing any new entries.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I am. I'm positive.
Have you looked
I was
recently?
flipping through I flipped through last week.
Yeah, there
I'm like,
are some
what?
references to the hunts in Megalon, and it mentions a couple of our fellow explorers by name, Reels chief among them. And
Yay, Reels!
yes, yeah. Yay, indeed. And it's great to see the story developing and really, taking in some of the explorers themselves, as it did back in the early days with his journals.
Yeah, and see, for me, I mean, I really am curious as to whether or not we're going to see more and more explorers introduced into the storyline. Because this whole thing that's happening with Reels, I could not be happier.
Yeah,
I mean, Reels is absolutely a phenomenal guy, and just may Yavo and Navarro bless him for all of the work that he's doing with the Zoological Society. Way to go, Reels.
Yeah.
So
Kudos to Reels.
Yep. So what else is Sharper saying? Did Sharper return his motorboat, by the way? I heard that Denis Motorboat Reynolds is looking for him. He's owed them quite a bit of money.
He's way overdue on that rental. Yeah.
Now the thing I noticed is that he mentioned seeing Kate and going, "Oh, here we go again."
Yeah.
No, he didn't.
He does mention Kate.
Yeah.
He mentioned the Kate? Oh,
The Kate.
God. The Kate. I'm sorry, I call her the Kate because I have no idea. I've never met her in Cavern.
Nor have I.
Yeah, and I'm the wait-and-see girl when it comes to her, but... Oh, man. If Sharper and her aren't getting on, I mean, who does she get along with in the DRC? Does she get along with anybody?
I don't think Sharper ever got along with the authority figures in the DRC.
No.
Hey, have we heard anything about Phil?
Not for a long, long time. I think it's still assumed that he was killed in the fall in the Guild Hall.
I don't believe
Rockfall.
that totally myself.
I'm
but-
kind of wondering myself. I think he's out there somewhere, but I hope we find out someday.
Yeah, Elvis is still alive too.
Well, yeah. Like that's news.
I said, and Elvis is still alive too.
Yeah, you just think he left the building. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, I'd love to see Phil come back. That would be such a phenomenal plot twist.
Yeah, that would.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm just sitting back and just watching all this stuff because real life has a tendency of getting in the way of what we do in Cavern normally. So I feel like I'm kind of behind, but I'm hoping I'm keeping up with you guys at least a little bit.
Yeah.
And because it's such a diverse kind of thing, and I think we're starting to really see storyline taking shape, aren't we?
Yes, we are. Yeah, but get back in and check Sharper's Journal.
Oh,
There are
okay,
neat
I'm
things
gonna
there.
have
Yeah,
to
several
read.
pages worth. Yeah.
All right, link. Womp. Yeah, that's me.
Yeah.
Womp. Yep. Okay. Well, speaking of all that and all the new things coming, what's going on the DRC site with the upcoming ages?
Well, a couple of important names are popping up there. We have Anone Temple
Oh, great.
and Arcana are both to level to Phase 5. Anone Temple Phase 5 approval scheduled for 4/12/07. So,
I'll be thrilled to see the Path of the Shell Ages again.
and Arcana is Ovens test failure third time recommended delay, and that was March 2nd, 2007. And
No, wait,
I'm
Arcana was
looking
all
at-
about delays.
exactly.
Or at least waiting for things to happen. Yeah.
So I'm looking at all the level 5s, some of which we have.
Uh-huh.
Neighborhood Corel is level 5, but delay.
Yeah.
No further information.
Anything gone to level 4 recently?
I see Tetsonot. I want to say Tetsnot because somehow I want to ignore the O in the middle.
Uh-huh.
Phase 4 approval, March 5th, 2007.
Well, good,
Okay,
good.
so that's an up and comer.
Hope to see it soon.
What I'm interested in is Anone, because the Anone Temple
Just keep swimming. Just keep swimming.
Yes.
is waiting for stability report March 18th, 2007.
Yeah.
Yes,
But it's still on level 4, so we're not quite to 5 yet.
Keep blinking. Just keep blinking.
Yes.
You know what I would suggest to the scientists if they're going to introduce any type of vehicle?
Yes.
Paddle boats. You know, the ones where you
definitely.
paddle
Yeah.
boats in
2-person
Anone.
paddle boats.
2-person
Yes.
paddle boats. Where you pedal and then, it'll take you different places. I think that would
Yeah.
be so
And they could
much
look like
fun.
swans, that.
Maybe we could use our hands for a change.
No, a giant quab. Quab.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh gosh, is anybody going to have a quab cookout in their Anone when water comes?
I
Good
think,
question.
I think I've seen people with little animated quab gifs.
Really?
Yeah.
I think they're very tricky to catch, though.
I'm a quab connoisseur,
Usually tend to dive for the water as soon as you get close to them.
Yeah, and I think that's half the problem. That
Chicken.
You know what?
Or
Wouldn't-
seafood.
They taste like chicken, yeah.
Yeah.
I would definitely say it's a combination of lobster and shrimp. You
Yeah,
know, that kind of meaty flavor. But
I think
I
so.
don't know,
With
quab
no
cookout.
claws.
Yeah. Oh
Yeah.
yeah, but we don't kill things. Oops, my bad. I'll go vegetarian then. Crystal salad, please.
Yes.
Crystal salad with space dressing. Yes, that's it. That's what we've got when we go down on it. But
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm just looking forward to little beach parties and. Gosh, people are going to be just stuffing people inside watery Anones until the
Yes,
end of time.
yes.
They're going to be like, party! And
I
they're
don't
going
know.
to be crashing them.
I think some of the Star Trek and Star Wars fans will be in the space Anone.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was breathtaking to see, by the way, back in the day.
And some of the jazz fans will probably be in the unfinished one.
Hey, did
Yeah.
either of you guys ever play the Path of the Shell Ages as multiplayer on the Huru Shard?
No.
No, I didn't.
Way back when? Ty and I, on a couple of occasions, went to Arcana together and explored together. And, of course, it was still the original form of that age. It wasn't really set up for multiplayer, but it was fascinating. One of the things that was I think the most interesting was I stationed myself out in the mixing vats where you dump the ground up harvest of whatever and you mix it up to make the pellets. And Ty was up in the control room working the controls to start the stirring mechanisms or to unlock the ladders or to empty the tanks and open the doors in the bottom. I was watching it all happen out there. And if you're playing single player, it's impossible to see that. And it gave me the strong impression that, there is a lot going on in Uru that we just never see as single players. And
Well, that's one of those things like when you go to the pyramid in Kadish,
yes,
that you see the structure move from the outside.
which I have yet to do with
Really?
somebody else triggering. Yeah, the whole ball up there rotates to, aim down toward the floor.
Yeah.
Really?
And
I
for
wanna
example,
see
if you
that.
go to Teledon with somebody else and work the vapor miner, the gun, it's really very interesting because you can see a blast of steam come from the barrel of it. You can see the bullets impact, or the projectiles impact on the walls or whatever else you shoot at. You see the bellows on the side of the pedestal compress as the gun fires. And as your friend operates the controls to aim it, you can see the barrel rise and fall and rotate from one side to the other. It's all the things you don't see if you're just doing it by yourself.
Oh my gosh! So it's one of those things: explore together and explore together often.
Yes, Arcana is going to be big that way. And the cool thing is, if you've been through these ages so many times on your own, if you go there with somebody else, you might see something that you've never seen before, simply because it wasn't available in that single-person
Okay,
view.
now, I have a question for you guys, because I couldn't get it to work when I played Teapots.
Yeah.
When you're in Arcana and you're driving the Harvester,
Yes.
does the Harvester ever return back to its original position where you ride it from?
Not unless you tell it to.
Yeah, there's a call button, isn't there?
Oh, I didn't know that, because I was going to say, hey, rides, woohoo!
See, I'm
You
trying
know?
to remember. It's been a long time. But what I'd like to see is eventually, if we can make that age fully operational, if you ever looked at...
The call button calls the part of it that separates, I believe.
It calls the hopper, back up out of grinder location. But if you noticed on the sides of the harvester itself, it's got two cutter arms, kind of like you see, guys cutting grass with on the side of the highway, that drop down to either side, and I guess they are like reciprocating, cutters like lawnmowers, and presumably they harvest the vegetation or the mushroomy, stalk type plants that grow in that canyon, and deposit them in the hopper in front of you. I wonder if we'll get to do that. I mean, in the initial version, the cutter bars were, just folded up out of the way, and you can never do anything with them. And wasn't there a lever on the harvester that didn't do anything?
Yes.
I
yeah, so I wonder if it works those cutter bars.
Oh, no, I remember Arcana now. That's the one where you go, and if you go down into that hole, you're hosed. You have to go... You have to link out to Relto.
Well, it's one of the places where that happens. Hole. Yeah.
I remember that hole.
I do too, because I so sorely wanted to. Yes, exactly. And I so badly wanted to see what was on the far side of that hole and around the corner in the canyon where the rails disappeared. And I played with fly mode back in the day, but never managed to do it in Arcana. And I'd sure like to see what's around that corner.
I remember being so steamed because I was, when you're. I mean, we're explorers, so we go and we study every nook and cranny in these ages. And I got myself down into the hole. I'm like, no, there's got to be a way I can get back up. No.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, there's a way. It's called a Relto linking book. Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
and
that's
I was
the only way.
I remember being steamed about that. But here's something for you guys.
Mm-hmm.
In all of this, there are some things like in Myst 5 that you see that are so very much like what we have right now.
Yes.
And, because I'm replaying Myst 5 right now, trying to get to Dream. I'm trying to get to Dream so very badly.
Myst 4?
I'm sorry, 4.
Myst 4. Yeah.
My bad. 4. Anyway, kill me. Gosh, I am just not on the stick today. No, in Myst 4, we, you see so many little things that are just like what we've got.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, no, that's Myst 5, because I'm thinking about Nolaben and all that.
Yes.
Sorry, I'm getting my Myst games all muddled up. It's just one giant world. I am an Uruguay. I'm getting it all muddled. Mm-hmm. But, when I think about Nolaben and all the ages that we saw in Myst 5, and I'm like thinking to myself, I wonder if we're ever going to see that here in Uru. Mm-hmm. Because, there are so many things that we could do there. Which one was the ride with the, you got into the little pod and you went through the waterfalls? Which one was that? Was that in 5 or 4? Or was that in Teapots?
The closest thing I'm thinking is in Teapots.
That was Anone.
Yeah. Was that?
Yeah.
Oh, jeez. Oh,
that's where you actually made your way to the control room and could see the machinery with the 4 spheres.
That's right. Yeah. I'm sorry. My brain is just not working today.
Well, see, it's been a long time since I even played the Path of the Shell Ages.
Spoiler alert.
They have. Oh my gosh.
Oh goodness, here we go again. I don't know who appointed you spoiler police.
No, I just thought I'd mention
don't mess with the man. Don't mess with him. Just don't do it. Mm-hmm. Just because he will put the hammer of Motley Smackdown on you.
Yes.
Just don't mess with him.
Well, should we move on to the last bullet point?
Yeah.
Of course.
This is one of my favorites.
Dance, baby.
The dances. Yeah, the dances have changed. You may have noticed that we really can dance now. That's right. Even the guys can really dance.
I don't know. I think the girls have taken a definite step back.
I'm agreeing with that because they got the arms flailing in the air, and I'm like, I don't dance like that.
I'm like, that looks like some kind of a tribal worship dance.
There you go. That's what I thought it was. She was like, om nene, I was like, whoa, go girl, go.
I'm kind of hearing ooga chaka.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
But she getting down with the tribal rhythms.
Mm-hmm. I even tried to find music for that because I created a female Abby just so I could record the dance. Mm-hmm. And I can't find the right music to really embody that.
Yeah.
But the one thing with the old girl dance, she matched the tune "Burn You Up, Burn You Down" by Peter Gabriel.
Yeah.
She matched it. She was actually with the rhythm of "Burn You Up, Burn You Down." And I
makes you wonder if there's a connection there somewhere.
I thought so too, because every time I go and visit Zandy, I dance. Because he's got the good Peter Gabriel going. And you know what? I'm sorry, I'm just going to have to put a boombox in my backpack and take it down to Cavern, because I cannot live with the the music in Relto. It's like, okay, come on, let's pop in some Rage Against the Machine or something really cool. And
what did the machine do to you?
Right.
Stack dump. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, stack dump. Yeah, dumped on me. I'm gonna take my revenge. No, but no, I would. Some Mozart, for goodness sakes. If I'm gonna go through Kaddish, then how about some nice little Mozart?
Sure.
Or something cool.
Enjoy that natural beauty with some appropriate music. Yeah.
I'll bring some Enigma.
Yeah, right on. No, but the dances, I mean, she doesn't match any music now. She's kind of like, okay, got the arms flailing in the air, look like I got an eel stuck in my shorts. Here we go.
Yep.
She does. Looks like she got an eel stuck in her shorts. So, I don't know.
Do you have a real occurrence you're basing this on, or?
Actually, me and eels, believe it or not, I've had some pop out of walls and try to bite my fingers. So
really?
I
Scuba diving?
I'm the one who's been bit like 5 times by sharks. I'm the one who got bit in the butt by a shark. Yeah.
What did you do to the poor shark?
I didn't. I was a naturalist at Shark Reef at Mandalay Bay.
Oh, that's neat.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that is so cool.
I was the first girl naturalist to dive the main exhibit.
Well, you told me you were a chipmunk.
Sharks. I was a chipmunk over at Disney. I was an emergency chipmunk.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah,
you never know when you need a chipmunk, yeah.
We're just spiraling out of control here.
No.
There's a track that they play on Tech TV, or Tech TV, This Week in Tech, on MacBreak Weekly, when they have just completely lost the topic, and they go, rat hole!
So don't you wish they had a chipmunk Avi in Uru?
No,
and you could kind of do your old thing?
We should have Sherry say rat hole or chipmunk hole, and I'll take it and I'll tweak it in Audacity, and then we'll get to the high pitch. Chipmunk hole.
Wouldn't it be fun? Well, if we had Abby's for like our favorite cartoon characters or something like that, and we could.
I know you, Moog. You would walk around as Mickey Mouse.
Oh, I might.
You would.
Yeah. Or
you would.
We could chase each other around a Gura as the Roadrunner and the Coyote.
Oh dear God!
And the Coyote could do these jumps off like the the library ledge and kind of freeze in midair and hold up a sign that says bye bye or something. Or here we go again.
They should do
Relto,
in
here
Guild
we
Wars.
come.
They did a April Fool's thing where your character switched gender. So I log in. I'm like,
that in there.
my monk is bald and muscular, and then I've got a female monk who is long, lovely blonde locks. I'm like, what? This is not my monk.
This is not my beautiful monk. Yeah.
Oh no! Over in there, there was a bug that turned some people. They transgendered their avatars. It was really funny. One of my friends ran up to me, was completely outside of course, boxer shorts and a t-shirt, ran up to me and said, "Oh my God, I'm a man." I said, "Oh dear," and she goes, "Do you have any clothes I can have? Because I don't have any clothes. They're all for girls." And I was like, "Oh dear God," and it was actually a bug.
Oh gee.
It was just, don't want to be running around like that. Me personally, I have gotten my avatar where I really, really like her in Cavern. I've got, because what's so funny is if you look at me, I have the exact same clothes in my closet. I have Ann Taylor Loft, the long cargo pants, and I have the long sleeve T-shirt. And so it's really funny because I actually made my avatar look exactly like one of the things in one of the outfits in my closet. So when I do a dance, I look like I do it in real life. Yay. Anyway, trying to steer us gently back on the topic.
As Sherry throws her body, to the wind onto the steering wheel. Back we go. I just imagine her like sliding across the top of the steering wheel on the boat. Here we go.
Never ever let me steer the boat. Okay, but I think that wraps us up, doesn't it?
That about does it. Yeah.
Did we cover it all? Okay.
And then some.
We'll never have it all covered. But.
Yeah.
All right, well then let's.
Who needs to cover it all anyway?
Oh, that's very true.
Yeah.
So, for the cavern today, this has been
Moag.
Janathus.
Dalton Starbine.
And me, Sherry, signing off.
Bye-bye. Shora! This is Moag again, bringing you the sixth and last installment in our series, The Journals of Toroneko, based on the in-character journals kept by Explorer and TCT teammate Toroneko during her adventures in the Ages of Uru. As before, spoilers have been edited out. Each installment has covered a specific age. Last time, we shared Tora's adventures in Kadish Tolesa. In this final chapter, we'll join Tora back at the Cleft and in her Relto. I'll be playing the part of the explorer who finds Tora's journals, and Galen will again portray Tora. So sit back and enjoy. For Uru veterans, think back to your own first time in the ages. And for new explorers, think of these journals as your preview to the wonderful adventures to come. Wow. What a treat it's been to read Tora Neko's journals and to see the entire adventure again through her eyes. I see that this is the last chapter in her journal, and I must confess that I'll sorely miss these special times here on the Dakota rooftop, sharing the thoughts that Tora recorded as her journey unfolded. Like so many of us, she immersed herself in this grand adventure and made these worlds her world. And yet, have any of us actually met Tora? She's as much a mystery as anything we've found in the ages. Just like Catherine and Atris, the only memory we have of her is this journal. Well, perhaps, someday, in some age, we'll finally meet and share our experiences firsthand. Perhaps.
Returning. I have given the last pillar back. Each pillar's return cracked my Relto a little wider, until a fissure was ripped open. I have seen this fissure before. In Mist, in Riven, written in the Book of Atris. This is something that cannot be written or represented properly. It must be seen, experienced personally. I wonder if it's the same for astronauts. We people of Earth look at pictures of space, but the astronauts who see it firsthand are the only ones who can really know what that experience feels like. And so it is with this. I'm a lone traveler, explorer, looking down into the endless depths of the starry fissure. How many ages are connected here? Is every star another world? What journeys those could be. Journey. I must finish mine. Staring down into the starry fissure, I know what I must do. Once more into the breach, dear friends. I jump. The Cleft. I have returned to the Cleft. I have returned as the Barrow have returned. The ending becomes the beginning. The beginning is the ending, and this whole journey is a circle. I entered the symbols of the Barrow cave into the Imager. Yisha speaks. She gives me Relto and clothing. She shows me a linking book. It's only from the Imager, and yet I press my hand to the glowing page, and I link. It's raining here at the Cleft. Life returns. Flowers in the desert. The volcano blooms with blue flowers. I have looked, but Zandy is not here. Is this another time? Is this out of time? 3 Barrow on the volcano. One sees me. Relto. One more page. It's raining on Relto. Perhaps the tree will grow. This is the end of one journey and the beginning of another. Time for a new journal as well. I will leave this journal full of my thoughts in Denis. Explorers come, for I have followed others, and more will follow me. Perhaps one of them will find this journal and read my thoughts. Fellow explorers, this is my journey. This path you have walked as well. Our journeys are connected. Someday we will meet in Denis. I will meet you there. And we can share our stories as I've shared mine here. This is not the end, though my writing is done. As cliché as it sounds, this is only the beginning.
And so concludes our feature, The Journals of Toroneko. As always, we'd like to thank Cyan Worlds for the music and sound effects heard in these episodes. We'd also like to extend our sincere thanks to you, our listeners. In closing, I'd like to share a short letter that I received from Tora herself. Toroneko writes, Galen and Moag, thank you for sticking with the Journals of Toroneko all the way through. Galen, you have been a great voice actor for my voice, and I enjoyed the sound effects you added in. Moag, you have been great fun to work with, and this couldn't have turned out so well without all your wonderful editing. I will miss working with both of you on this project, and wish you luck in all your endeavors. Also, I would like to thank Sherry for stepping in and helping out when we were in need of another voice actress. Shora B'Shem. And with that, we leave you. For The Cavern Today, this is Moag signing off.
It's Sherry again for The Cavern Today, bringing you a new segment entitled Keeping Clean in the Cavern. It's just a few tips and friendly reminders about cavern hygiene to keep you healthy and safe. This month, we'll be talking about Explorer's Foot. You might know it better by the name of its surface counterpart, Athlete's Foot. Now, being that our main mode of transportation in cavern is walking, you would definitely want to maintain good hygiene for your feet. After a hard day of exploring, it's important to make sure that you avoid the dreaded explorer's foot. You know what I'm talking about, that itchy sensation between your toes that can be accompanied by soreness and redness. Explorer's foot is caused by a fungus. Fungi commonly grow on or in the top layer of the skin and may or may not cause infections. Fungi grow best in warm, moist areas, such as the area between your toes. Explorer's foot is easily spread. That's right, it's contagious. You can get it by touching the affected area of a person who has it. More commonly, you can pick up the fungi by going barefoot in shared areas, such as ages in someone's pools or maybe the floor in someone else's relto. The fungi then grow in the warm and moist environment of your footwear, especially if it is tight so that little air can move around your feet. A great way to avoid explorer's foot is to keep your feet cool, clean, and dry. Make sure that you link to your relto and dry your feet thoroughly and change your shoes and socks after exploring in wet ages like those spots in Kadesh, Eder Kemo, Eder Gira, Eder Sogal, or if you've been soaking your feet in your relto pool. You can avoid the dreaded explorer's foot by wearing leather shoes or sandals that allow your feet to breathe. If you've got them, wear cotton socks to absorb sweat. Also, make sure to change your socks at least twice a day. Try using baby powder on your feet to keep the moisture down. Most importantly, though, don't forget to place your shoes on your relto steps if it's not raining, or head over to the dry parts of Eder Gira to let your shoes dry out completely, letting them dry for at least 24 hours before you use them again. To relieve your symptoms, wash your feet well in the pool below your waterfall in your relto, then dry them thoroughly, making sure to dry those little bitty places between your toes as well. For this podcast, Staying Clean in the Cavern is brought to you by Denisonex, your surefire way to kill explorer's foot. Denisonex, keeping you in stride in the cavern. And for The Cavern Today, this is Sherry, signing off.
Don't go yet. We're almost done, but we have one more trick up our sleeve. Before we share that, though, we'd like to give thanks to all of our fans, new and old, for listening. We'd also like to thank Vid for the opening and conclusion of this podcast, Montgomery for the opening, Dalkin Starbine for the news and TCT Talk, Nareem for the news, Sherry for keeping clean in the cavern and TCT Talk, Moog for TCT Talk and Torneco's Journal, Galen for Torneco's Journal, Torneco for letting us borrow her journal, and finally to Ian Moreland for his wonderful piece, Walking on Ice. Now, onto that trick we have. You see, Montgomery aptly mentioned earlier that Vid was one of those nuts that took part in the 24-hour Rate Zero recalibration effort on April 13th. Vid was much more than a nut, however. He was the driving force behind that effort, pouring his heart and soul into that event. So, we decided to close this podcast out with a tribute to Vid's efforts on that day, giving you his closing speech for that event.
And with that, we have officially reached the end of the 24-hour Great Zero recalibration revival. Some may say that we failed because the Great Zero has not been activated, but I've got to say I think they're wrong. In the past 24 hours, I've bore witness to what may have been the single largest community effort to ever occur in this cavern. I've seen hundreds of explorers working together, running the markers, getting their friends together, running this entire day as an effort to get this machine started. Even if we didn't get it running tonight, this thing was huge. So once again, I would like to thank all the explorers who took place. Of course, got to thank Vortmax for 24 hours of awesome music. We've got to thank Cyan, the DRC, and GameTap. We have to thank all of our various sponsors. But one more time, the most important person we can thank right now is everyone. Everyone who made this possible for this past 24 hours. Thank you all. This is Vid, reporting from Uru Obsessions, Great Zero, signing off.